Welcome back to Red Panda of Destiny, here for another episode of Show of the Year. We're, of course, still covering the 2018 season of American Vandal. And today we're doing the episode Wiped Clean, another bathroom-related innuendo. So, about halfway through the season now, things are starting to get interesting, I think. So this episode very much focuses on the fourth crime that seems to have been covered up and figuring that out. So first they try and figure out what actually happened on the day. And that means tracking down the janitor who mysteriously disappeared the day after the prank. And apparently this janitor is famous on campus as Hot Janitor. This good-looking mid-20s fella. And he's therefore very documented across various students' social medias. And it was very noticeable that he was gone. So they track him down. Have to jump through a few hoops, but they eventually track him down. He's like, and they were assuming he quit. But the reality is he's just transferred. Who was he transferred by? Well, Mrs. Wexler, of course. She seems to be at the center of all conspiracies at this school. So knowing that, and then they get a interview with him, and he's like, well, there must have been two teachers that threw up. There were two piles of sick. He's the one who found the candy, so he basically confirms the story. Which leads them to the question, who ate shit? They narrow it down to three teachers, and they all give basically the same answer. To the best of my recollection, to the best of my knowledge, that sort of thing. A very non-committal language, which I do like, is a nice detail, and it's very front and center in those interviews. Well, at least two of the interviews. One of them was a little bit better, but two of them are... He's very noticeable. And they then narrow it down to Mr. Fernandez because he left just after the incident would have happened. Coincidence? I think not. So they go and they try to talk to him again, and he gets quite angry and tells them to leave, which is immediately suspicious. So, and then just to add some more evidence to it being him, they bring up this Gifts of the Lamb mission trip to Costa Rica, I think it was, which is apparently a bit of a joke. It's, I think, direct quotation from the show, 2 hours of work per day. And then they go and stay at like some 5-star hotel and just party like rich kids, because most of them are pretty rich. It's just a scam to get parents to pay for kids to go on a fun vacation under the guise of helping people. It's a bit ridiculous. And it sounds like the football players all get to go for free, but I'm not sure on that, because I know DeMarcus went, and DeMarcus's family does not have that sort of money. I mean, that's pretty clear in the series. So we were going to assume that all the football players get to go for free. Wait, it's not football. It's basketball. Sorry, I'm in the wrong state. I'm thinking of Texas. It would be it would be football here. I don't play football in Washington. It rains too much. Anyway, the basketball players get to go for free, and they also have to take some chaperones. Usually 4 chaperones. But that year, it was 5 chaperones. I need to put my hand there. The 5th of which was a surprise late entry by Mr. Fernandez. And apparently it's much like the Emmys or the Grammys, and it's a very mysterious process as to who gets picked. So coincidental that Mr. Fernandez gets added suspiciously at the end as a 5th extra chaperone. So, knowing what they know, they mic Chloe up, undercover cop style, and she goes in to ambush Miss Wexler under the guise of a schedule change. And she, lays out everything, accuses her, all that stuff. And then Miss Wexler basically threatens her with, "Ooh, you might get in trouble. People who associated with Kevin, who's already confessed to this, might be getting in trouble." And it's this straight up threat, but nothing incriminating. But it is a straight up threat. And then Kevin tells Chloe, stop. Look, they got me. It's done. Let's just move on. And then he leaves a message for Peter and Sam. Let them use his locker, which just happens to face the teacher's lounge. So they put a camera in his locker, and they watched the teacher's lounge for, I guess, a day or two. And here's our big cliffhanger. They see Lou exit the teacher's lounge. Now, Lou is, of course, DeMarcus's hanger-on, shall we say, manager, etc., etc. And you see him clearly, straight out of the teacher's lounge, and you see very prominently the "No students allowed" sign. So that's the big cliffhanger. Presumably the next episode is about DeMarcus, because he's back in suspicion. Or maybe losing suspicion. Who knows? Find out next week.